I purchased this guitar off the internet, and here's the way it came in. Just came in from UPS out of Idaho, and it's a Harmony. It's what I'd say compares to a Martin triple aught size. Got an adjustable truss rod in it. It's made in USA. And that usually on a Harmony means that it's a solid top guitar. This thing's had a little damage here on this corner. Had a little crack. It may have been repaired from completed. I hadn't looked inside it yet. But here's the way the guitar came in to me. Turn it up here and let you see the back of it. It's in decent condition. It's got some flaws in the neck there where somebody's dented it, and probably don't know what they put on for a capo, but it was pretty rough. Here's a shot of this fingerboard that somebody has taken some real coarse sandpaper and sanded cross grain on it, and it's just going to create a bunch of extra work to straighten that out. We've taken the strings off this guitar and knocked the nut off of it. Took these tuners and bushings off of it, and got it so we can lay our straight edge on it and check the neck set on it. And as you can, maybe you can see, it does need a neck set. Here's a shot of us removing the pick guard from this top of this guitar. Here's a shot of us removing the old bridge. We got a little heating blanket that we've attached to it, and we're just working with it slowly and letting it heat up and removing it. Here's a little shot of a little iron that we use to heat the fingerboard up before we take the neck off. This clip shows my homemade jig that I used to encourage the neck to come out, and I use these two little foam cutters that I bought off the internet to put some heat down in there, and I usually squirt a little water down in there to form a little steam, and it works pretty well to get the neck out. It takes a few minutes. You just keep applying a little pressure with this jig. This next clip shows us enlarging the sound hole on this guitar. These things had about a 3.5 inch sound hole, and we like to open them up to 4 inches. And after we get it enlarged, we take some sandpaper and kind of round over the edges to make it look more like a factory deal. Here we're scraping the finish off the binding. This old binding, I scraped all the finish off and tried to remove it, but it was so old and brittle and cracked and broken up that I couldn't get it off without tearing it up. And I don't show that part of it, but it came off in pieces anyhow, and we wound up having to put some white binding back on it because we didn't have any tortoise binding. Here's a clip showing the guitar after we removed the back. The back was really hard to get off and didn't come off very cleanly. I didn't video that, but this shows us removing some of the braces from the top. On this clip, we're removing the bridge plate. We sawed through it at certain points and tried to get it, worry it off there, I guess you'd call it, but it's hard to heat that up as big as it is. And so we just kind of took it a little bit at a time and removed it. Here we are sanding and cleaning that glue off. This old reddish brown glue that they used in these guitars during these days is some of the hardest stuff I've ever seen. Here we are putting some little spruce plugs in the old holes where the bridge pins were. We're going to use a Martin style bridge on this thing, and the holes don't come out in the same place. So we filmed this showing putting the new plugs in and cleaning them up and chiseling them down and sanding them. In this next video, I can't film everything I do on these, and I didn't film putting the X braces in this thing, but here's a shot of them after I had them in. I was about to glue the back on it. Put a little note in there with my name and the date on it. Here's a shot of my little jig that I used to line the bridge, and some of the measuring things I used to be sure I've got the bridge on there straight and in the right position. Here are a couple of homemade tools I've got that I use to reset the neck with, and this jig holds the body and this other one holds the neck, and it allows me to recut the neck joint accurately. This clip shows me straightening out the mess that some previous luthier had made by putting all those cross-grain scratches in the fingerboard. This is a beautiful piece of Brazilian rosewood, and we're just trying to restore it to its natural beauty. This is what the fingerboard looked like after we smoothed it down and got all those scratches out of it. Here's a set of tuners that I made some wooden buttons to put on here a while back, and at the time I didn't have a guitar to put them on, so I'm going to try them on this. They're oversized, but they're that way for a reason. It makes them easier to turn. Here's the bridge that we put on it, and we've got our saddle fitting like we like it to fit. It's a good tight fit going down in there, and it's no play in it. That's the way we like them to fit. We've still got to taper where the bridge pins goes and drill our holes for those. Here's the bridge after we got our bridge pins put in there. These are some homemade bridge pins I made out of some maple. And we got little ramps cut in the front of them to go into the saddle to where it'll bear down on the saddle like we like it. We got this guitar strung up and pretty well finished. We polished the fingerboard up, and that's some mighty pretty Brazilian rosewood on it. And got it pretty well fixed up. We had to put some white binding on the back, and it doesn't match the front, but that's going to make it a unique guitar. Put these tuners that I put some wooden buttons on, bigger buttons, and some fellas said they look like a boat paddle, but they sure do work good, and I wasn't putting the knobs on them for looks anyhow, so somebody's going to criticize anything you do, but that's alright. He's entitled to his opinion. My opinion is that they work mighty well. But this old guitar's rough, got flaws in it everywhere. But there was a hole in the side that we tried to patch. It doesn't really look that great, but it's tolerable. Sound is what we were after, and so I'm going to show you what this guitar sounds like. I got a little clip of playing it when it first came in, so maybe you could make a comparison and see if it sounds any better. Sad, sad story, friend. I don't know if you can make a comparison to that or not, but that's what it sounds like.